Hello, everyone. Welcome into Wagers on Campus, your home for weekly college football. Appreciate you checking us out. Thank you so much. We got shows dropping every single week. And today we're talking the Natty, the national championship game. Indiana 27, Miami 21. The Indiana Hoosiers are national champions. But again, thanks for being here. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you could share, that would be greatly appreciated. We try to grow our following. If you enjoy college football coverage and just two guys talking ball, hey, respect. What's up, everyone? I'm Mayor, and I am here with Xander.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good to see your shining face here on this bleak January Wednesday. College football is done for the 2025-2026 season, and now we turn the page to basically what's ahead and the new season. Hey, on Twitter I saw someone have a $1,000 ticket on Indiana at 200 to 1 to win the national championship. So that person won $200,000 on that ticket.
Yep. Yeah, there's a couple out there. Saw 150 to 1, $2,000 and then 400 again. So 2,900 all bet, 2,400 to win 290,000. So that's a nice little come up for those that had the nuts to just take a Curt Cignetti led team. That's psychopath.
That psychopath indeed. Did you see that his daughter posted that screenshot about Dad, are you happy now? And he said, yes.
No, I did not.
Yeah, apparently when he was at JMU, they went like 12-1. They had just scored, I think, over 60 points, and everyone was glazing JMU. And she said, Dad, are you happy? And he just responded, no. And then she texted him after the Natty and said, Dad, are you happy? And he said, yes. So I guess he finally did it. And he said he's going to go celebrate with a beer, just like Mendoza said he was taking shots from the front and the back.
God, that guy, get out of my face. Oh, glad we are rid of him from college football. Most undeserving Heisman Trophy winner. Ends season undefeated in national championship. So, should we just get right into the national championship and talk whatever shit we have to after that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with Mendoza, you better become a fan of his. He's going to be playing your most hated team, the Kansas City Chiefs, twice a year.
Oh yeah. Sure. Whatever. I don't rely on those teams like the Raiders to beat the Chiefs. Now I just rely on karma to beat the Chiefs, and it seems to be doing a pretty fine job. So Mendoza, I'm tired of seeing him, and I'm not looking forward to seeing him on Sundays.
Okay. All right. Well, the Natty 27-21 is your final. Indiana Hoosiers are national champs. And like you said, Curt Cignetti leads this team in his second season as head coach, leads just an unbelievably losing team in football for years and years and years to the national championship game.
Yeah. Can I tell you something?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't watch this game. Recorded it.
What?
I watched. Yeah. Yep. Watched first quarter, and then we already had plans to see Return of the King in theaters, showing Lord of the Rings for 25th anniversary. So 8:00 showing. We were in the theaters watching Return of the King.
Were you okay with that?
Yes, it was my idea.
Wow, dude. Aren't you a host of a college football podcast?
I mean, my bet was in. There's nothing I could do to change it. 5-unit play. I'm not chasing anything live. And just let the chips fall where they may. That's really what it can. I mean, like I said, I did record it and I did watch afterwards, but I'm just saying, I'm piping up and saying live. I hope you know that.
All right. All right. Did you get any spoilers during the movie or after the movie?
No, no.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's honestly the only thing that matters. I mean, if you're able to record something and not get any spoilers, then it's the same as watching it live,
Yeah.
really.
Maybe the only good thing about a Monday night showing.
Yeah, right. So the game itself, you got to watch it back. I was watching live. Yeah, I mean, this game, I gotta say, I was where to even start? There's so much to unpack here, but I was a little bit surprised personally how well Miami's defensive line uh, dominated Indiana's offensive line.
Yeah, yeah.
Personally,
Mesidor and Bain were just eating the entire time. But um, same goes for the opposite side. Indiana was able to hold Miami in check, rushing outside of one massive explosive play, 57-yard touchdown there. But it feels like Miami was just getting swarmed, constantly punting the ball away. Indiana had 16 more plays than them, and that felt about right. However, interesting enough, this is like the post win, and this always gets skewed when there's extracurricular touchdowns, but the post win expectancy was Indiana's lowest of the entire season. Obviously, with the block punt in there, and the game is decided by less than a full touchdown, you're going to have that. But when I look at this game, it did feel like the first signs of nervousness and trepidation from the Indiana side, and that's not taking anything away from Miami, but was really disappointed in a lot of the play calling from Indiana. Very reserved. Uh, it's not like they're an air it out down the field team, but it was just not very complex. And I think they were lucky to win this game the way it ended.
I mean, Miami had the ball past the 50-yard line, and they looked pretty good driving, and they had plenty of time. And then Carson Beck throws a bad pass, and the corner picks it off, and that's the game. But I mean, I think you have a fair point there, Xander. I mean, like you said, a punt was blocked, and Miami missed a field goal. I know football don't work like this. I get it, but if we're just doing the math, that's 10 points right there. Um, Indiana Indiana really just struggled to block up Miami, honestly, and they struggled to get into an offensive rhythm throughout the entirety of the game. And on top of that, I don't know if you thought the same, but I thought the refs really let the boys play. Miami had their hands all over some of the receivers at some points, and there was no calls made.
Yeah, that's fair. There were still 7 penalties, I believe, on Miami. So, looking back at things again, 0 penalties for Miami against Ohio State is going to be one of the crazier stats you pull away from this entire playoff run. After they had 10 in the following round against Ole Miss, and then 7 in the national championship, and they're even swallowing their whistles. You still get 7 penalties created. Pretty crazy. Anyway, yeah, and a pretty clean game turnover wise. The only turnover was the last turnover or the last play of the game. But yeah, Miami was able to generate 10 havoc plays created. So they were able to disrupt Mendoza. They had 6 explosive plays to Indiana's 3. Like I said, the reserved play calling of Indiana, maybe it just came down to Mendoza feeling, I think we saw this in the Iowa game as well, and same with Ohio State. Uh, and of course, out of all the big names in this game, that fucking Charlie B from Nashville, Tennessee, just fucking shows up again in the biggest game. This guy, the third string wide receiver, hardly recruited, and uh, the dude just is a gamer. He's a gamer. Made some incredible catches. Malachi Tony, who Ohio State shut down pretty well. Ole Miss did a pretty decent job, but it really had a breakout game here in the national championship. It's a true freshman, insane. So that was really impressive to see. Just finally them getting him the ball in any possible way. That touchdown run, 22-yard touchdown run, it was just a really well designed misdirection play. And yeah, I mean, he made the play to get into the end zone. He was, would have been a nice, easy first down, but the last 6 yards was all him. So yeah, I mean, it was good seeing the star players kind of show out. And same with Cooper. Like he was a big player in that game. You talk about Becker making a couple big catches. Cooper was the one making big plays to extend drives and get first downs when Indiana was kind of behind the chains. So the reason I say that I think that they should have lost this game is that final drive, man. I think Cignetti settling for the field goal when on the other sideline you've got a kicker that's missed in tonight's game, in last week's game, and 3 times in the Texas A&M game, and you are going to give the ball back with 1:42, and you think Miami is going to settle for a field goal? Like if it was just a 3-point game, is what I'm saying. Like they were going to go for the win no matter what, unless barring any like fourth and long situation in field goal range where they have to take it. Like Miami's looking to score, and I just thought that was a big time uh, nervous, bad play calling by Cignetti on that final drive.
Yeah, interesting. I see where you're coming from. What was the down and distance on that? It was fourth, but fourth and what? When he
so it goes first down, 9-yard gain, 9.5-yard gain, and then they get a false start. So it's like 2nd and 5.5, and they just run 2 run plays off the guard out of the shotgun for nothing. So, they were obviously trying to drain their timeouts, but especially in college, time is so easy to stop in college.
it was 4th and 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was more about the 2 plays before that. They're settling to take the timeouts away when one play action pass or anything could have ended the game right there, and you're in almost victory formation.
Yeah, for sure. I can get more behind that thought than personally. I was fine with him choosing to kick the field goal, even though it wasn't like any sort of gimme. Like I know 35 yards, you should make it, but especially in college, like that could easily be missed. But he did drill it, and obviously, I mean, you and I both know his thought process was probably like, all right, well, we're up 6. They need to go down the field and score a touchdown. We're going to trust our defense to close this thing out. And I mean, in the end, he was right.
Yeah. In the end, the guy that we never trusted showed his true colors. Carson Beck throws one of the worst balls you'll ever see to end a game. I mean, no pressure, like
no need to make that throw in that spot. There was still plenty of time.
No, and you had the entire end zone like to lead him. The only way that ball should have missed is long. Hey, I just don't know what the fuck was going on. So Indiana wins.
That throw is like you're playing pickup with your boys. Like, not that we do that anymore, but like you're playing pickup with your boys and like you're stoned and you're playing quarterback and you're like, all right, I'm gonna throw this one. I'm gonna throw a dot and it's just some duck.
Yeah, a duck. You're just staring down the one good wide receiver on your team. Yeah. So I mean, the better team probably won. Either team would have been fine with. The over-under misses by the hook. Insane. 48.5.
Yeah.
And
that one probably shouldn't have hit the over just based on game flow and how everything was going.
That's fair. But and the both of us on Indiana -7.5 misses because Cignetti gets a little cautious down the stretch. And to be fair, Indiana's defense really started to bend a lot more than most they've shown all season. Second half, Miami was really moving that ball. So Indiana wins 16-0 national championship. Never done before. I think it will be done again. Easy, take it easy, Sarkeesian. But impressive nonetheless. And their schedule looks tough to repeat next season. Same with some of their roster moves, but I think both of these teams, barring quarterback play, should be back in the playoff next year.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that way about Indiana. And I mean, as far as Miami goes, they definitely might for sure. I guess from like your like look, I was thinking to myself, I know you can only talk about this point so much, but it's so crazy that the Indiana Hoosiers won the national championship. Like I've just tried to think about it in a way that would make me appreciate it, like for what it is. And I was like while they were celebrating on the field, I was like, dude, this would be like Purdue winning the national championship. Like, could you imagine Purdue on the field right now, or Northwestern on the field right now, or Syracuse raising the trophy? I'm like, this is video game shit. This is crazy that this happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw something that did make some sense. It was a little doom and gloom, but I kind of agreed with it. Indiana didn't win the national championship here. It was essentially, a group of mercenaries wearing Indiana jerseys. Like the way transfer portal and NIL works, like this isn't building an Indiana team from the ground up. And he did bring a lot of guys from JMU that he did build up. So I'm not going to like completely tarnish this, but just in today's age, like fucking the guy that creates the next tech feat, it happens to be a huge football player, and who knows, we could see Middle Tennessee State lift a national championship. Like it's just a little different. It didn't. Yeah, I can agree. The pageantry and the true awe, I just wasn't that taken aback. It's just another well-assembled college football team. In my mind, I don't even look at the history of it.
Yeah. I mean, I hear where you're coming from. I mean, the sport is definitely completely flipped on its head and is completely changed, but I still am obsessed with it. So.
Yeah, it's good to see more. Who would be like the last, like Auburn, Florida State, because it's been LSU, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia,
Michigan.
Yeah, I guess Michigan. They did come out of nowhere and they receded back to the black swamp that they live in. But I don't acknowledge that as winning a national championship when everything is done in cowardice and humiliation. Right. So, but yeah, outside of that, shit. This is it's good to see more contenders out there. Although, do we put an asterisk on this? Notre Dame didn't get a shot, so co-national champions, maybe
with Notre Dame.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, in 10 years, are we going to talk about Notre Dame claiming a national championship in 2026?
I mean, it only seems fair. I mean, they did beat Indiana in the playoffs last year. That was Indiana's last loss.
That's true. They did lose to Miami. So technically, I mean, Ohio State lost to both these teams. If Notre Dame's claiming one, I think Ohio State has a good claim at one too.
Yeah, we can have a 3-way split. Sure.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Any final closing thoughts on the national championship?
Well, I just, again, I do agree with like your point about Indiana being a little bit lucky to win this game. Like at the end of the day, if I'm being honest with you, I gotta say I think Indiana did make a few more plays. I was really impressed with the way that they were able to tackle. I thought Indiana tackled Miami very well to keep them short of the sticks. But when you just look at this game from an offensive line and a defensive line standpoint, it really felt like Mendoza was under duress pretty much every single play all night long. And on the flip side of that, it felt like Carson Beck, for the most part, was operating out of a clean pocket. I mean, there was multiple plays where Beck had like 5, 6 seconds to look downfield and throw the ball. Like that one play when he just hung onto the ball forever, and then finally CJ Daniels kind of broke loose, and it was like a 25-yard gain.
Yeah.
And I think Miami finally settled into that in the second half. They were like, "Oh, you know what? We can actually just run our shit and have success." But it was just like a little bit too little, too late. But Indiana did kind of squeak that one out. I mean, especially even like the Mendoza run, the magical run on the quarterback draw. I mean, that's 4th and 5. That thing looked a little bit choppy. Like even though the blocks ended up working, Mendoza had to he started to his left and then he had to go around the lineman to the right. And man, like that play could have ended different.
Yeah, it's because he ended up talking about that play specifically, and he had two triggers on what, like, this was an option play. So like if they went to man, he was set to, it was a draw the entire way. But if they dropped into zone, there was going to be a play action and he was going to end up throwing it. And what happened was Miami kind of did like this hybrid
Cloud coverage.
Yeah, where half went to zone, half went to man, and he just like he does. He goes, "Oh, I trusted in my game and God," and I just put my head down. So that's why it kind of looked a little choppy. So it was interesting to hear him explain that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But no, I mean, that's really it. I just, like you said, Miami had what, 10 havoc plays. I'd be curious to know how many Indiana had. I mean, I don't even know if they had half that.
They actually had 9.
Oh, well, fuck me.
Yeah. But I mean, when it comes to, sacks 3-1 Miami, tackles for a loss 6-1 Miami. So like they were in the backfield, just living back there.
They really were. I was like, when I'm watching, I'm thinking like, man, Miami has like some NFL guys. Are these Indiana linemen not quite NFL caliber? And the answer definitely might be yes. I don't know. I don't know enough about the guys on the line for them.
Yeah, but when you think about it, like until that Fletcher run, like Miami did nothing.
Right.
Like they were completely stymied.
That's very true.
So like as good as their, like Indiana's just wasn't as flashy, and that's really what it comes down to. But they were keeping them, and we talked about it on the show. It just didn't work out for our bet. But one of my main points was Indiana needs to control first down, keep Miami behind the chains, and they did that all game, and that's kind of why they survived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those are my closing thoughts as far as the Miami side goes. What a season! What a run! I certainly did not see them beating Ohio State for sure. And then by the time they played Ole Miss, we already kind of saw how hot they were. So that wasn't all that much of a surprise, but still an impressive win. And then, of course, Texas A&M to start the whole thing. Hell of a run. Hell of a run.
Yep. I will say, going off before we get off this. This is your first time seeing this, so I get a true reaction out of you. Cignetti fraud conspiracy. Now I've
All
got
right.
I've got something here for you, Alex. That I was not going to release if he won the national championship in a dominant fashion. But like I said, he kind of turtled in the biggest moment and allowed Miami the chance to win the national championship instead of going and taking it for his team. And so this whole persona of Google me when you're scheduling nobodies on your team is always rubbed me the wrong way. Now, Alex, it wasn't until a chance that I discovered there may be something else that this Google me originated from. And it was over the holidays that I discovered it. Now, Curt Cignetti was hired on November 30th, 2023. November 30th, after Thanksgiving, before Christmas. Would you say that's a time that normal families start putting on Christmas movies?
November 30th, normal families.
Just
About so about
no. Just like after Thanksgiving, before Christmas, you just start letting the Christmas movies fly.
100%.
Yeah, decorations are up, Christmas movies are on. Well, Alex, there's a Christmas movie we watch every year, and I pulled a clip from it that's released in 2008. And Cignetti seems like a Vince Vaughn guy. And I'll let you judge for yourself this 2008 clip from Four Christmases.
You might want to look me up sometime, Barbara.
No! Ow! Ah!
Google me, bitch.
What?
Google me. You might want to look me up sometime, Barbara.
No! Dad!
Roughhouse.
Stop!
Now,
Now, that's Vince Vaughn's character at his father's house with his nephews wrestling him for those listening at home. But that child screaming said some very, very interesting phrase there that could be repeated in your press conference in the first week of December if you just watched this Christmas movie. What are your thoughts on Curt Cignetti being a fraud on his arrogance and Googling aspect?
I think you're onto something. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think he saw the movie and it was in his head, and he said the line.
I think I'm 100% right on this. And I think that something needs to be said to bring these guys down to earth a little bit. Maybe in the offseason, I push this narrative. Maybe I clip it and just rain on the parade a little bit right now. Maybe when they have a parade day for the Hoosiers. Do college teams have parades? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You just need to you just need to find a way to ask Cignetti that question, whether that comes from you directly or somebody else. Someone needs to ask him.
I get escorted out. I get escorted out of the room. Coach Cignetti, would you say your favorite Christmas movie is a Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon classic?
Hey,
Someone
get
this guy out of here.
here.
Yeah. So, food for thought. I built my case. I'm sticking to it. He's a fraud.
Yeah. You make a good case. I would have to agree with you, to be honest.
Wow. Yes, this is how conspiracies start, and then it turns into facts. Oh, just got to get it moving on Reddit. Everyone would be in there humdinging this.
That's such a Reddit conversation.
Don't know if you saw this. FanDuel already released the odds for 2026-27 national championship. Have you seen these odds?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let me go ahead and share them with you and kind of read aloud here for those listening in the car. So, Ohio State, top top of the list, followed by Texas, Notre Dame, Indiana, all with the same odds, plus 700. And then followed by Oregon, Georgia, LSU, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Miami, Alabama, and then a pretty big drop off, all in order of teams like Oklahoma, USC, Ole Miss, Michigan, Tennessee, Penn State, after being about plus 400 to 55 to 1 the next season. But yeah, there's just a list in front of you here for those watching. But
Can you give me the ones that are 150 to 200 to 1, please?
Yeah,
That's
let's go down there.
for
These
Indiana.
are
West.
Clemson,
There it is. Vanderbilt.
Vandy, Florida State. Can you trust them? Fuck
Yes.
no. Lenora Sellers, senior year, or last year, I should say, 225. Arizona, Iowa, 125. The Big Ten's hot. Maybe a hot Big Ten team.
Is there a word for 4 in a row? Or is it just 4 Pete?
Quad beat. Georgia Tech getting Alberto Mendoza. Can the Mendoza family keep the magic going with your boy
Fair.
Brent Pry down there? Or
Brent
Brent Key?
Yep.
Or how about Kentucky? The Will Stein era?
Mm-hmm.
400 to 1. Baylor getting Lagway. There's some big numbers down here, folks. No, but seriously, up top, thoughts, any that jump out to you that if you were crazy enough to have money sit around for a full year that you would want to take?
No, not really. Maybe Texas Tech at 15 to 1.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
really.
I like Texas, 7 to 1. I also really, really like USC 33 to 1. So I'd wait to see what other books put out there. As you saw, and if you've been listening to us in our preview shows we do every year, the futures market can be pretty few and far in between on odds available, especially when you're in a state that has about 8 books that are live. We found Indiana 200 to 1, and at some places they were 125 to 1 in the same breath. So, yeah, I mean, I think these are just to draw some eyes to it. You'd have to be betting down in the hundreds that we were just talking about and have some information that would change to move up significant to be betting a year in advance.
Why do you like Texas and USC?
I just really like Maivia, and I like what Arch turned into at the end of the season. I think he battled his way out of the yips, and I think they're going to be dangerous with a full functioning offense. So, plus 700 is not worth the squeeze. I just like them going into next season. And then USC, people are going to hate on the coaching. Just saw Cristobal get through all the hate, so I think Lincoln Riley could get through some hate.
Yeah.
Heisman as well is up. Obviously, quarterback heavy. You got Arch, CJ Carr, Josh Hoover. Jeremiah Smith, first non-quarterback. His final season in college football. Can't believe we're already saying that. But that's 8 months away, his final season. We have the odds. And then like Stockton, Levitt, Moore. There it is, Maivia. Marcel Reed. Mateer, back, baby. That's going to be so huge. Healthy Mateer next season. I can project the Xander Glazing scale will be created and a new feature on the podcast. by the time we get to next year.
Yeah, man. It was never about his health. He was playing poorly even before the injury.
Okay, now you're being ugly. Your boy Sorsby, Malachi Toney, Lenore Sellers, Bryce Underwood, Austin Mack, getting
Byron Brown.
at Auburn is going to be interesting. Right?
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Dampier, Raiola, that needs to be taken down. Dante Moore coming back. Kleinholtz will be interesting. Rocco Beck to Penn State. The Matt Campbell era in Penn State, I'm really looking forward to covering in the preseason and following them at spring practice to see what he does right away. Because it feels like the polar opposite going into next season. We talk about a few things we're going to look ahead to, and I'll leave this up here for a minute. But Penn State just had all the pressure in the world. This is their year to win a national championship. It falls flat on their face almost immediately. And now, less than a year later, there's zero expectations. We love the coach we have. Let him cook with no pressure. And I think if you're a fan of Penn State, that's got to feel a little bit better than what you had to just endure.
I think so too.
Any names jump out to you that you like on here?
Yeah, for sure. Your guy at USC at 20-1. Dante Moore at 13-1. I think that's a great early ticket. And let's see. Underwood at 30-1. If he's as good as people say he is, that might be worth a flyer. Bear Bachmeier?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. That's an interesting one.
60-1? Come on.
Yeah.
Kewan Lacey's the first running back off the board. Great story, but without
good.
Trinidad there, I just don't see him being the running back that gets the Heisman nods.
Yeah.
Mestamaker he'll be 100-1 on some books. Being in a big conference now. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This would be the running back I'd stick with. Him not going.
Hardy is so explosive.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Or we could just, like I said, keep riding the Mendoza train. They might have something good cooking up.
A lot of good players on this list.
Yep. Already looking forward to it. Let me close that out. FanDuel odds. Yeah. So that's a brief look ahead. Obviously, a lot of moving parts in the coaching carousel, not just the transfer portal. So it's going to be exciting. Anything that you're looking forward to the most to following in the offseason, or any particular teams at spring practice? Since we eliminated that second transfer portal, we basically are going to get the teams that we have here in the next week or so finalized. Any teams you're going to be quietly following?
Well, from my point of view, of course, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Northwestern. Because I cheer for them. They hire Brian Kelly as their offensive coordinator. Aiden Childs. Chip Kelly. Why do I always say Brian Kelly? Thank you. Chip Kelly. Aiden Childs transfers from Michigan State. Young quarterback. A lot of talent. Just got to get that consistency out of him. But I'm excited to see what the Cats offense could look like this year. Oklahoma State is intriguing. Getting Morris from North Texas and your boy at quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting story. Vanderbilt, super interesting, especially with Pavia not returning, but Clark Lee, their head coach, has just built something really special over there. So definitely curious to see how good the quarterback is at Vanderbilt and how the team looks. And then, just some of the other squads that have new coaches, for example, like, Virginia Tech with James Franklin, or Penn State with Matt Campbell. Obviously, your boys in Toledo, they got a new coach this year. So I mean, those would be a few that come to mind. And of course, I have to shout out Michigan State and Coach Fitz, legend. Let's see how that works out.
Yeah, that's going to be a big wrinkle into everything that's evolved from the Big Ten. We're going to have a lot of upperclassmen on USC and Oregon. USC just knocking at the doorstep of the playoff, Oregon back-to-back 12-team. And then you have obviously Indiana, Ohio State, maybe Michigan with Whittingham, but then throw Michigan State in there, throw Iowa in there. We have to wait and see what their quarterback's going to look like. They just need to find a guy. So I personally want to follow some of the quarterback movement. I really want to see what Lagway can do at Baylor. Same with Byron Brown, stepping up, going to Power 4 level. And it's going to be interesting to see Levitt with Lane Kiffin for sure.
Big time.
And then whatever happens with Mensa. Obviously, that's the biggest news in the portal since we last spoke. Mensa is transferring from Duke. A lot of people believe it's a surefire thing he's at Miami, with Miami buying out the agreement and then paying him $6 million or $5 million. It's fucking insane. So we'll see. Mensa, one of the most underrated seasons we've seen in a long time. 4 interceptions to 30 touchdowns, and ACC championship. So I want to follow a lot of those individuals, and I'll be watching a lot of spring practice and putting out some content around that.
Florida Gators don't have any interest in Mensa?
I think they're up there. It was Miami, and who's the other one I'm missing out on? That's also a big spender that could use a quarterback. Oh, shit, I don't know. And then also something to really monitor is this the beginning of the end of Dabo Swinney? Clemson does nothing in the portal, lose everyone to the NFL. It's as we just saw, odds are 150 to win the national championship. It's beginning to feel like it down there in Clemson, South Carolina. So maybe we see a changing of the guard there this season. So a lot to look forward to, a lot to be proved wrong on, because I can do some clips in the off season, but as much as we were right about a lot, we definitely missed on some things, and it's always funny to go back and look at those.
Yeah, I mean, your point about Dabo is super fair, especially if they've been pretty quiet in the transfer portal. I have firsthand experience with that in college basketball as a Marquette fan with Shaka Smart, who refuses to use the transfer portal. Man, I'm not saying you have to be, the leader of the pack and touting the transfer portal, but to not use it at all is quite the decision. And, Dabo is almost at that level. Obviously, in football, you have more roster spots than you do basketball. So I know he's used it a couple times for smaller moves. But overall, his philosophy is we're going to keep the guys that we have and, build the relationships inside this building. And look, man, I just don't think it works sustainably.
It's like
in this day and age of college athletics, you might find lightning in a bottle one year, maybe it'll work. But go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like a guy in the 1940s who, like, the last guy to use a car, still takes his horse to everywhere. Well, I'm still getting to A to B. It's like, Richard, will you just get a fucking car, please? The technology is there. It's available to you. This is clearly better for everyone involved. And whether you like how it's run or not, it's like it's like you said, it's terrible to the fans, the players, and everyone to just not even use it. when no one is obligated to, like the players aren't obligated to not transfer out. The only players that can't transfer into a program are the service academies, and that's for a good reason. Like, so yeah, you're spot on with that. It's tough. It's a tough watch. It's ignorant. It's dying on a hill that's not worth dying on.
Totally. You don't have to be its biggest proponent, but to just completely ignore it as a tool is just ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with, and we've been detractors of high school recruiting. Can't imagine what it's like for, like, I'm very negative about it. And football, can you imagine basketball? There's 330 fucking teams. Like the thousands of people that play basketball, and like a kid just needs to get to college and start playing. So if he's playing at Utah Valley State or something and he was missed on the recruiting trail, it's like, go get him in the portal. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to play at a big school. That blue and gold on his chest. He wants Marquette.
Totally. And like you can vet a guy's character, you can look at what he brings to the team, but like, I understand from the transfer portal standpoint, oh, we don't want any bad apples or to taint our culture over here. Well, great. Then get people who fit your culture. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Any closing thoughts on the season?
No, we've covered a lot.
We certainly have. Certainly have.
I will say, I'm okay with the decision to leave Notre Dame out of the playoffs, but had they gotten in the playoffs, I think there's a world where they won the Natty.
Oh, you're crazy, boy. You're crazy. You're crazy.
I don't think I am, and I think I'm not, but okay.
No, I truly do not believe that. I think maybe they were the fourth best team this year, but I do think two of the top three teams, like we previewed, were in the national championship. I just think people fell in love with Miami's losses and totally forgot about week 7 when we're talking about Miami is the best team in the country, ranking them ahead of Ohio State when Ohio State hadn't lost yet. So, and I think we saw that, and you really talked about that a lot today with that defensive line, and they were well deserved. I think if they would have seen Notre Dame again, same fate would have happened.
Yeah, and the other thing, man, is like football is hard. Like, yes, it can be played on paper to an extent, but man, like all these guys got to go out there and line it up and block and run block and pass protect and be on the same page. And it's just, you can have the flashy names or the quarterback or the coach or whatever, but it doesn't always work out. And even if it works out, you still probably aren't winning the Natty. It's a hard sport.
Yep. Closing note, haven't been following. It looks like we are dead sets on a 16-team playoff. That being said, they're getting really weird with it, and it's really pissing me off. Two teams would have like a 2-round bye. Something so stupid of not just having 16-team bracket. Anyway, so I saw that as a rumor. They would probably just go to the 16-team bracket, no buys. Have not seen progress on first 2 rounds being home. I think if they decide not to do that this season, they're going to see a big drop off in fan bases that have been in the playoff for 2 straight years. Some fatigue. You talked about it, your Georgias, your Oregons, your Ohio States, of just even getting there. And then there's rumors of a 24 team. I really don't see it going through, and SEC might save us because they really are really opposing that. So actually the Big Ten is the one pushing it, the Big Ten commissioner. So it's literally like the mafia. It's like 5 families, dude. There's no one overarching commissioner of college football. So It's like the 5 families sit down at the table, the Power 4 conferences have commissioners, and then the G5 conference. So expect a 16-team playoff next year. And also the future of the podcast. I am planning on continuing to record and covering some transfer portal coverage. And I will be recording a sports podcast in the off season. Now, Alex will obviously have an open chair whenever he wants. Show is either going to be called the Alex Xander Sports Show or the Xander Scott Show with Mayor, depending on how often he would come on. That's something we decide off air. But expect weekly content. I just don't want this to lose momentum that we've kind of gained and throughout this season. And yeah, so a positive note. And then before you know it, Wagers on Campus will be back in late June to break down early July to break down conference previews. And
yeah, man.
Football will be right in the foreview.
100%. Well, I mean, I love college basketball and I love Major League Baseball, and I can bullshit about the NBA, and you can bullshit about the NHL. So
golf, I went 1 for 1 on the season so far. I hit an outright pre-tournament.
Wow, that's hard to do.
I know, $20 to a grand. Got her up was 55 to 1. That was a nice little Sunday.
My God. Is that this year?
Yeah, it just happened this past Sunday.
Oh shit.
Yeah, opening weekend. Tomorrow we've got if you're listening to this tonight, Nick Dunlap 170 to 1, Michael Kim 70 to 1 or 60 to 1 at some books. And then you could go Scotty Scheffler with the Rams to get 8 to 1.
My NFL pick for our listeners: Rams versus Seahawks, under 47.5.
Whoa. Under. Let's go Ramley, baby. The Ramley.
I'd love to see it.
Thank you, everyone, for following throughout the season. This has been a pleasure. I think we've done 42 episodes this season.
That's
God
sick.
bless. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
To start next season, I think it'll be about the second preview show, Alex. It'll be our 100th Wager on Campus episode.
Hey, man, just keep showing up.
Oh, fuck. Thank you, college football. Thank you, everyone listening. We love you.
Love you guys.
Bye.